What's going on, y'all? BBQ Dropout here yet again. If you want the written version, head on over to bbqdropout.com. One-stop shop for all things barbecue. That includes brisket. So for this case, or this question, if you're wondering kind of like how long you should be sort of preparing your brisket and like actually cooking it inside of your slow cooker at about low temperature, just know that I would say like there's always like two main things to consider when cooking or smoking or baking any kind of brisket, or slow cooking any kind of brisket. So the first of which is like how hot you're cooking your brisket at. What's the ambient temperature? Is it considered low and slow? Is it considered hot and fast? Low and slow is anything around like 225. Hot and fast is like anything above like 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And then, so that's number one, how hot you're cooking your brisket at. Number two, how much does your brisket weigh? You know, in a slow cooker, you probably can't fit anything past like a 5 or 10 pound piece of meat inside of it, particularly a brisket, because briskets usually weigh like at least 10 pounds if you have like a whole packer brisket where it has like both the flat and the point inside it. So you just kind of want to like guesstimate or estimate, okay, like how much is my brisket, or how much can I reasonably expect to put inside of any kind of slow cooker. I would say a maximum of 10 pounds, and that's honestly kind of probably pushing it. And if you're slow cooking it on low, it's probably anywhere from like 225, like 250 on the high end. So I would consider cooking a brisket on low settings in a slow cooker to be a low and slow cook. And so what you want to do from there is grab your thermometer, stick it in the thickest part of whatever piece of brisket you can fit in there, and then sort of guesstimate that it's going to take about 1 pound per hour of cook time. So if you have like a 10 pound piece of meat or brisket inside the slow cooker on low, then you should probably budget about 10 hours. And that's probably going to be pushing it, to be honest, in terms of like having a 10 pound piece of brisket in there. But let's just say for sake of simplicity, you have a 10 pound piece of brisket in a slow cooker, cooking it on low, it's going to take about 10 hours to cook all the way through. And so that's really only like one part of the whole brisket preparation process, in my opinion. So a lot of people will just kind of throw like this metric around and say like 1 pound per hour cook time, and that's about it. And that's true, but it doesn't take into account, the preparation, like maybe turning on your slow cooker. It's probably going to take like an hour or so for it to get all the way up to temp. You have to season your brisket. I usually just season the brisket like an hour beforehand. So when I start my day, turn on the slow cooker, season your brisket, wait about an hour, put it in the slow cooker, you're done. So that whole process takes about an hour, plus the 10 hours in our example to cook it all the way through. Pull it once it reaches like 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can take and when you can take a toothpick and start probing that thing around. So take that off, and then you want to let the brisket rest for like at least three or plus hours, because all the moisture is going to evaporate. It's going to be a very dry piece of meat. And even though you may have prepared it and cooked it the right way and pulled it out of the cooker the right way, if you don't let the thing rest for at least 3 hours, or until the internal temp reaches like 165, you're going to be gravely disappointed, unfortunately. So to really answer the basic question, it's probably going to take 1 pound per hour to cook all the way through, plus like another hour for preparing everything, and then another like around like 3 or so hours for it to rest. So the 10 pound or the 10 hour cook time plus another hour, 11, plus another like 3+ hours, give or take, to rest the brisket, it's going to be about 14 hours. And that's for like a 10 pound little thing of brisket inside of your slow cooker, cooked at low and slow. So anyways, hope you all thought that was helpful, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.